Odessa and Big Spring. This is ABC Big 2 News at 10.
Now at 10, we start tonight by taking a live look outside. This image is of I-20 in Odessa. Now at the start of this weekend, we saw a lot of rain, but tonight it's just cool outside. Let's head on over to ABC Big 2's Bridget Sarpong for a check on our weekend forecast. Now, Bridget, this is the fall weather I like.
Yes, Rob, and you're not the only one. I'm actually enjoying it too. It's reminding me a little bit of the areas that, have some green and getting some rain to, get everything nice and pretty. Taking a look at some of the green that we are seeing on the map right now, we are seeing some rain in the area, pretty dry in some of the areas in the middle of Odessa, but we are seeing a lot of rain action going on in Fort Stockton. So we do advise that you stay indoors until the storm does pass over. If you have to drive slowly. Today was a fall-like day. We came in at 72 degrees. Usually around this time in October, we're definitely used to 82-degree temperatures. So you know what? 10 degrees cooler, but not as cool as how we were back in 1979 when we were in our triple digits, sitting at 100 degrees. The one thing I will say is that we are cooling down in our temperatures. In some areas, 2 degrees cooler in the Big Spring area. I have more of what the rest of the weekend will look like later on the show. Back over to you, Rob.
Thank you, Bridget. Now across Texas, after months of public outcry in Uvalde, the entire Uvalde School District Police Force has been suspended. Many of the victims' families have welcomed the move. ABC's John Quinones reports.
We all did this. We all did this.
Amid outcry and criticism from the community, the Uvalde School District announcing it has disbanded its entire police force. The district saying in a statement, recent developments have uncovered additional concerns with department operations. The news coming just a day after the district fired newly hired school police officer Crimson Elizondo, amid reports that Elizondo, who had responded to the rampage at Robb Elementary as a state trooper, was now under investigation for her conduct during that massacre. Her exit leaving just 6 officers on the force until Friday. The news welcomed by the families of the 21 killed, including the father of murdered student Jacqueline Cáceres. Outside district headquarters, families ending an 11-day sit-in calling for change. Among them, vigil organizer Brett Cross, who lost his son Uzziah Garcia in the massacre.
We're not done, but this is a good start. Good start. We got to come together. We got to right the wrongs that happened, that caused May 24th to happen.
Now that was John Quinones reporting. Hours after the school police force was suspended, the Uvalde School District Superintendent announced he would be retiring. The district said it's requested more DPS troopers to be stationed on campuses and at extracurricular activities during this police force suspension. The length of the suspension is not clear. Now to the migrant crisis. The mayor of New York City is declaring a state of emergency because of the influx of asylum seekers, some of them coming in from Texas in buses. ABC's Phil Lipoff has the latest.
A state of emergency in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams making the declaration Friday amid the influx of migrants arriving each day. The city's shelter system at 100% capacity, and Mayor Adams says the city's services are being exploited by others for political gain. He's calling for federal aid.
This is a humanitarian crisis that started with violence and instability in South America, and it is being accelerated by American political dynamics.
In providing assistance to asylum seekers, the city is projecting it will spend more than $1 billion by the end of the year. At least 5,500 migrant children have been enrolled in New York City schools. Of the 61,000 people in New York City shelters, 20,000 are children, and 1 in 5 is an asylum seeker. More than 17,000 asylum seekers have been bused to New York City since the spring. At least 5 or 6 buses are arriving every day. Mayor Adams announcing in the next few weeks a large humanitarian emergency response and relief center will open on Randall's Island. According to a recent report, U.S. Customs and Border Protection is on pace to make more than 2.3 million arrests on the southern border. In New York City, the majority of the buses are coming from Texas. In an exclusive interview with affiliate KLTV, Texas Governor Greg Abbott saying busing migrants is not a political stunt.
New York, Washington, D.C., and Chicago are self-declared sanctuary cities of millions of people with far more capabilities of dealing with these migrants than these small little towns on the border. So this is a life preserver for the small communities in South Texas.
And that was Phil Lipoff reporting. Now the Department of Homeland Security says it is helping cities like New York City, Washington, D.C., and Chicago by expediting reimbursement requests the minute they come in, as well as helping with resources on the ground. Still, buses are coming in not just from Texas, but from Arizona and Florida as well. And new at 10, a Texas father turned himself into a detective to find justice for his son after a hit-and-run driver left the man's son seriously injured. ABC's Morgan Norwood shows us how the dad turned to social media for answers and got them.
A Texas dad turned detective.
It was a desperation, the frustration.
The moment Nicholas Andrade learned his son, also named Nicholas, was injured in a hit-and-run crash, he wasted no time going to the intersection where it happened.
I prayed, asking the Lord to show me what I needed to see to help find the person that hit my son.
Pretty soon, the pieces started coming together, literally.
I found the headlight ring to a Jeep, and I also found a license plate cover, part of the license plate cover frame.
Andrade took photos of the parts and then turned to social media for tips.
Somebody on Facebook came out and they said, look, we have a dash cam footage.
This video shows the white Jeep that Andrade's son says slammed into him. You can even hear the impact, which happens off camera. Andrade says he posted that video to Facebook, and neighbors then started sending more footage. He said deputies eventually tracked down a Jeep. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office releasing a statement to ABC News saying a suspect, a juvenile, came forward with her mother and confessed. Adding a thorough and complete investigation was conducted by our deputies without unreasonable delay. Recovery is far from over. Nicholas Andrade suffered broken bones and a spinal injury.
We just wanted justice for our child.
And the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office telling me the juvenile faces a felony charge of failure to stop and render aid. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And much closer to home, taking a live look tonight at the city of Midland. Now, a local group in the tall city wants to make sure the children it serves have someone that they can rely on. CASA of West Texas is looking for people to volunteer. ABC Big 2's Ozzy Mora is in studio with us tonight and tells us how you can become a voice for kids who have been removed from their home and placed in the foster care system.
CASA of West Texas needs you more than ever. CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocate, and it needs heroes like you to volunteer and be their voice when they cannot speak for themselves.
It's really hard to find volunteers in the small areas, and it's hard to find resources for the families and children that we serve.
CASA of West Texas needs you more than ever.
I think if we had more volunteers in those smaller areas, we could make sure that the volunteers are assigned to only one case at a time in some of the smaller counties.
It needs advocates or volunteers for children in the basin who have been removed from their homes because of abuse or neglect. The group's program director, Tracy Fryer, says most of its volunteers are working with more than one family.
And that can sometimes be a bit overwhelming. So if we had more volunteers, we would be able to share that workload.
Each advocate or volunteer helps a child as his or her case advances through the court system, but they also assist in another critical role.
Our volunteers go and they research family, they try to bring them to the table so we can reintroduce them or create some kind of connection between the family and the youth so they're not feeling alone in foster care.
Enrichment Director Michael Deere says it's important that kids in foster care are connected to their families of origin.
Research shows us that kids do better when they're connected to their family while they're in foster care. They have less placements, they spend less time in foster care, so it's very important.
CASA's goal is to serve 100% of children in West Texas, but they can't do it alone. The organization says all those interested in volunteering will receive the training they need. You know, CASA does ask those who decide to volunteer to truly become invested and committed to the children they work with. Reporting in studio, Ozzy Mora, ABC Big 2 News.
I'm Avi Kargloth with ABC Big 2 Sports with a look at what's next. Utpb had a big slate of games on homecoming weekend with games all across Odessa. Highlights from a busy Saturday ahead in sports.
And, well, friends, the rain has been in our area for the entire week. Sunday will be another rainy day. Stay with me. We'll take a look at when it's going to start. Rain.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is Chip. And for more than 100 years, American Humane has been protecting animals in times of crisis. And if you're like me, your pet means the world to you, and you want to keep them safe if disaster strikes. American Humane's first responders are always prepared to rescue animals in danger, but you can also help. To learn more about disaster planning and keeping your animals safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
At the watering hole, the bedding area, the field edge, and through shed season, your next big deer will alert you when he's ready. The Flex from Spy Point.
Got a big day ahead of us. Be safe out there. Hit it.
Hey, stop! Just once, I'd love a quiet day. Every Friday on Basing Gridiron, Carpet Tech and ABC Big 2 is bringing you Game of the Week. We're coming to a game near you Fridays on Basing Gridiron, sponsored by Carpet Tech.
We've all heard that as soon as you drive a new car off the lot, it depreciates by $5,000. Well, right now, if you own a current or one-year-old Honda or Kia, Kelly Grimsley Auto Group will give you your money back. We'll buy it back so you can upgrade into a newer model without losing a dime.
Optimum is here with award-winning internet to help you get closer and go farther, faster. Get speeds up to 1 gig with 99.9% reliability. And Smart Wi-Fi 6 for whole home coverage. Built-in security and no data caps to keep you moving. Get Optimum internet for as low as $30 a month, now with a 2-year price lock guarantee at Optimum.com.
And away we go!
Joe Biden's inflation is crushing Americans. And Biden and Beto support higher taxes that would crush us even more.
But in Texas, we are fighting back. Cutting property taxes to help homeowners. Producing more energy to lower gas prices. And we passed a constitutional amendment to ban an income tax in Texas. If you're tired of getting crushed by Biden's inflation, join us and keep Texas strong.
And now, your local weather authority forecast.
Well, friends, happy Saturday. The weekend is here. We're looking so forward to it. The one thing that has stayed the same for us the entire week is the clouds in the sky. Taking a look at our middle sky tower cam, we are seeing some of the clouds. Right now, we are seeing some really nice driving conditions. Earlier, we did see some raindrops. We saw a couple of sprinkles, but not bad whatsoever. Taking a look at what we have been seeing, a temperature change with the rain that's going on down below in Alpine, Marfa, Van Horn, and Pecos. Those are the areas that are cooling down. So Alpine is 14 degrees cooler, Marfa 5, along with Van Horn 5 degrees cooler. Then we have Pecos at 4 degrees cooler, and then Fort Stockton 2 degrees cooler. Where we're seeing that there is no rain in the area, the middle Odessa area is 2 degrees warmer, so definitely not too bad whatsoever. Here's what we're going to see for tonight. We are going to be in our 50s. It's going to feel like fall. It has been like fall, feeling like fall all day today. Our winds are going to be front and center, traveling east, northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, the weekend forecast, here's what we got. Today was a nice day. We sat at our highs at 74 degrees. You know, it was nice in fall. We did see a couple, thunderstorms, but here's what we got for tomorrow. A high of 78 degrees, a 60% chance of some rain showers. It is going to be partly sunny, so you're going to see a lot of clouds out there, and then we are going to see some thunderstorms, so do be sure you stay indoors. Right now, here's where we got that rain going on in the Pecos area where it has cooled down. We are seeing some of that cloud cover in the middle Odessa area. We're going to get a quick little break all the way until 6 a.m. on Sunday while everyone's getting ready for their morning church. We're going to see some of that rain happening in the Alpine Marfa area, but the Middle Odessa area is going to be nice and clear. We're just going to see those cloud cover. Now, we are going to see some rain start to pick on up tomorrow around 6 p.m. in the Fort Stockton area. It's going to be pretty heavy along with Marfa, and then the Middle Odessa area is going to see some of that rainfall too. So do be sure to have your raincoats. You're going to need your raincoats all the way up until Monday 10 p.m. That rain is going to increase in the Marfa Alpine area, but also in parts of Big Spring, Odessa, and in Midland. So I do have a couple rain tips for you guys, but let's take a closer look at what we can expect for tomorrow. 8 a.m., 56 degrees, a very cool morning. Then we get into noon. That's when the clouds come in, but some of that rain as well, sitting at 70 degrees. Then by the time we get into 5 p.m., our winds and our weather does increase to 75 degrees, the slight rain chances in parts of the area. Here goes those rain tips I was talking about. We have avoid flooded roads, turn around, don't drown, and drive slowly in those puddles. That way you don't end up like this car stuck in the road and in those puddles. But the main thing is stay indoors until that 7-day forecast does show up. We're going to stay indoors all the way up until Thursday and really the entire weekend. So do be sure that you have your necessary outfits, your umbrellas, your rain boots, your raincoats, all of that good stuff, because that will protect you from the rain. Now I'm going to head it over to, Avi to talk about some of the sports that we had going. I know yesterday was a rainy day for the big, high school game.
Yeah, that's how you know we're really getting to the fall when I can't wear shorts to these games anymore, Bridget. I mean, woo. Yeah, it was starting to come down a little bit this past Friday, but moving on to the college football field, Texas Tech, they had a rough road loss, that was last week against Kansas State. They're hoping to rewrite the script today. They had another ranked opponent on the road in 7th-ranked Oklahoma State, their 5th straight week facing a ranked opponent. How would they fare today in Stillwater? Well, first quarter, we're tied at 7. Spencer Sanders is going to keep it himself and run it for 14 yards and a touchdown. Cowboys would lead 14-7. Second quarter, Tech down 3. Baron Morton hits Xavier White on the screen. He sneaks in the end zone. 4-yard score. Red Raiders lead by 4. Third quarter, only a 1-point game. So Roderick Thompson just walks right in from 2 yards out. It's 31-23 Red Raiders. Later in the third, same score. Sanders on a bootleg puts his head down. He'll just power right over the goal line for the touchdown. We're tied at 31 after the 2-point conversion. Fourth quarter, 3-point game. Dominic Richardson muscles up the middle, gets the push, and he gets in for the 7-yard score. Tech, they put up a heck of a fight, but after leading, they come up short by 10.
Goes for 30.
All right, the Red River rivalry. Texas and Oklahoma's Quinn Ewers returns to action after suffering an injury against Alabama. And here he is on the play action. Xavier Worthy, 10 yards, touchdown, Longhorns up 14-0. Then Ewers swings it to Keelan Robinson, takes it 15 yards, touchdown, Longhorns. It's 21-0. It's getting out of hand. Later in the second, Jatavion Sanders is the man to catch this pass from Ewers. 24 yards later, and it's 28-0. Not so great for the Oklahoma faithful. Then, third quarter, Ewers, Sanders, again an 18-yard score. Ewers, 289 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the Texas faithful had themselves a heck of a day in the Red River rivalry, blowing them out 49-0. Whew, boy, that was a big result there. Meanwhile, on homecoming weekend, we had a slew of games at UTPB. The Falcons, they hit the field and court today across Odessa, including up north at Ratliff Stadium, where football kicked off. Falcons looking to improve to 3-3 in their first home game in 3 weeks. Falcons playing at Ratliff Stadium for the first time this season, hosting Simon Fraser from Canada, just outside Vancouver. First quarter, Falcons moving the ball in the red zone. Dylan Graham finds Gunnar Absek for the 19-yard score, and UTPB hits the extra point to go up 7-0. Early second quarter, Falcons in the red zone again. Graham throws back to MJ Link, who then throws it to Brock Johnson. Nasty play there, an 11-yard score. Falcons up 14-0. Then, in the middle of the second quarter, Falcons, they're backed up deep in their own territory. Graham throws it up for Link, who makes the catch, makes a move. 2 defenders, they got caught slipping, and they won't catch him. 93 yards to pay dirt. The Red Leafs, though, they would fight back, but the Falcons would hold them off in overtime to win 31-24. All right, to the court now. Utpb Volleyball hosting Lubbock Christian, going for their third win in a row. They lost the first 2 sets. Here in the third, Daily Doggett bumps to Maze Barker for the spike. Falcons lead early 2-0. A bit later, Jenna Gray sets to a Kinsey-out Strambler, who goes up high for the spike. UTPB maintains a 6-4 edge. The Shaps trying to make some noise, but Cassandra Rother goes up with 2 hands for the block. But it wouldn't be enough today, though, as the Falcons would drop this one in 3 sets. All right, moving to the turf. The Falcons women's soccer took the field this afternoon and had a tough battle against the St. Edwards Hilltoppers at home. Both teams with heavy and stout defensive play. UTPB with only 7 shots, 4 of which were on goal. And St. Edwards finished with 10 shots. Only 3 of theirs were on goal. It's 0-0 to start the second half, and the Hilltoppers would have a chance after a penalty kick was called against the Falcons in the 82nd minute, but it was missed, and the game would continue to be scoreless, and nobody would get the back of the net in this one as we end in a 0-0 tie. Men's soccer, meanwhile, they had a little more action in the back of the net as the Falcons hosted St. Mary's for the Rattlers. Pretty even in the first half of play, and UTPB looking to get on the board first, but they accidentally hit an own goal to put the Rattlers on the board first. Then a goal from UTPB's Gustavo Barasto in the 53rd minute. That would tie the game. A nice play for a 1-1 tie, but the Falcons and the Rattlers would then just run away with this one as St. Mary's would come out on top of the Falcons, winning 4-1. So all in all, on homecoming day, 1-2-1. That's, I guess, the overall record for UTPB, but football, they needed that win especially. I'll just tell you that from being there on the sideline.
Absolutely, Avi. Rattlers, Hilltoppers, Red Leafs, Falcons.
Lions, Tigers, Bears, oh my.
Well, the names that stand out. Brock Johnson's catch.
That was a filthy trick play there. Definitely knew Coach Kerrigan had that in the back his back pocket, so he played it to quite great effect tonight.
Yeah, real nice. Add it to the highlight reel. All right,
no
thanks
doubt.
a lot, Avi. And coming up, a devastating rampage on the Las Vegas Strip. Tonight we hear from one of the victims who was attacked by a man dressed in a chef's costume. More of that investigation coming up next.
MID is the Basin's first television station. From 1953 until now and beyond. We're always first, always accurate, and always proud to call the Basin home. Watch ABC Big 2 News. Are you looking for a job in the fast-paced world of news? ABC Big 2 is currently hiring for the following positions. Qualified applicants, head over to yourbasin.com and click on Work for Us under the Jobs tab.
Wow, would you look at that?
It's beautiful.
You even remember the napkins.
Well, that's our boy.
So proud.
There's a deal for every sunrise at McDonald's. Right now, try our $5.99 Sausage McMuffin with Egg meal, including a Sausage McMuffin with egg, hash browns, and a small coffee.
In Texas, you can show one of these 7 approved photo IDs when you arrive at the polling site. And on this website, you'll find more insight. Brought to you by the Texas Secretary of State.
ABC News honored winner of 9 Edward R. Murrow Awards, more than any other network, including winning for the 3rd straight year the award for overall excellence in television. ABC News is America's #1 news source.
Hi, I'm Susie, and I'm here with all my bony Maroney friends, and we're here for Halloween with lots of candy. Come see us.
This year, Halloween is in full effect, and so is Susie's South 40 Confections, with unique gift items and candy you probably haven't seen before. Stop by either of our locations, located at 2101 West Wadley or 401 South Marinfield Street in Midland. And of course, you can always visit us online at susiesouth40.com.
Developing now on ABC Big 2 News.
He grabbed it and he stabbed Maris in the heart.
Developing now at 10, we turn now to Las Vegas, where the suspect in a deadly stabbing rampage on the Strip appeared in court. Now, a show performer tonight who was stabbed in the attack is sharing her experience for the first time. ABC's Doreen Shaw is in Las Vegas with the new details emerging about the suspect and the stabbing spree that left 2 people dead and 6 others badly hurt.
He had every intention on killing her and killing us.
This morning, 2 of the showgirls injured on the Las Vegas Strip Thursday speaking out for the first time, reliving the terrifying moments after a man went on a violent stabbing spree that injured 6 and left 2 dead, including their friend.
He asked for a photo with his logo. Mary said yes. He then pulled out the knife, and we're like, that's not a logo. Like, it's not the logo we were expecting.
Anna Westby speaking from a hospital bed, describing Yoni Barrios walking up to them on Las Vegas Boulevard in a chef's jacket, carrying a foot-long kitchen knife, asking for a photo.
He grabbed the knife where the face was here and the blade was here, and he grabbed it and he stabbed Maris in the heart.
Police say Barrios stabbing them, then running down the street, stabbing others in his path. He appeared in court for the first time Friday, booked on 2 counts of murder and 6 counts of attempted murder. According to a law enforcement official, Barrios confessing and saying he was sorry. Barrios told police he thought the women were making fun of him, which they strongly deny.
There was not a single moment where he was provoked.
6 people did survive the stabbing, 3 of them still in critical condition in the hospital. 2 others, 30-year-old Maris DiGiovanni and 47-year-old Brent Hallett, dying from their wounds.
There was no reason that Maris had to die.
Now, that other person who died was Brett Hallett. He was renting a condo here, and we spoke to the neighbor who's taking care of his widow, who says she is just looking forward to getting back home to Canada to be with the rest of their family. Doreen Shaw, ABC News, Las Vegas.
Now, the arrest report said the suspect told police that he knew none of the victims and was hoping police would shoot him. At one point, a victim who was stabbed told police that Barrios said, quote, "Sorry, man," as he attacked him. The suspect was taken into custody within a matter of minutes by a security guard and a police officer. And coming up tonight, a West Texas man is being hailed a hero. His incredible deed that saved 2 trapped animals. That story when we come back.
Get ready for your day with meteorologist Ryan DePhillips.
At the watering hole, the bedding area, the field edge, and through shed season, your next big deer will alert you when he's ready. The Flex from Spy Point.
Trust your inner compass to find Whataburger's Hatch Green Chili Double. Smoky heat from Hatch Green chilies, melty cheese, and fresh all-beef patties. Whataburger's all-time favorite Hatch Green Chili Double. Just like you like it.
KMID is the Basin's first television station. From 1953 until now and beyond. We're always first, always accurate, and always proud to call the Basin home. Watch ABC Big 2 News.
What makes best reviews the best reviews? They have an unbiased team that researches products in real-world situations to give reliable recommendations on pretty much everything.
Call that a plasma sword?
So you can be confident that whatever you're buying is right for you, no matter what life throws at it. Like your daughter Clementine, for example. For the best reviews, go to bestreviews.com. Seriously, before you buy anything, ever.
Football is the game of life, and it brings the community together. White, black, boys, girls.
Flag, tackle. Football can revive communities. That's why I think, football is on the right path.
Community with football is very accepting and loving to people who enjoy the sport.
Win or lose, they do it as a family.
ABC News honored winner of 9 Edward R. Murrow Awards, more than any other network, including winning for the 3rd straight year the award for overall excellence in television. ABC News is America's #1 news source.
A West Texas man is being thanked for helping find 2 cats after a fire ripped through a Lubbock apartment, destroying nearly everything. Now, the man used a drone to fly into the building, but after the drone found nothing, he decided to look through the rubble himself. And as ABC's Landry Sr. reports, this rescue was nothing short of amazing.
You're okay, don't worry. You're gonna be okay.
When I first saw her looking at me, I don't really like emotions. I'm pretty straightforward, but when I saw the cat alive, my voice broke a little bit. I had to regain my composure. I pulled it out. It was all soaking wet, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is too much. So, handed the cat off.
I kept saying over and over, I wish we could go inside. If only we could even just peek inside, see if we can see anything, because it was very difficult to see everything in the apartment.
Drones are able to pick up some really awesome footage, but this drone is used for rescuing animals. It's able to fly over the unit and look into the debris to see exactly where an animal is located.
I was tagged in the post to bring my drone and to put into the roof of that building to find a deceased cat. There's too many color, shapes and everything. I couldn't see a cat. My battery in the drone died. Luckily, there was a me-sized hole in the bathroom, I guess, that I was able to climb through and get in. There's debris everywhere. As soon as I step in, I hear the saddest little meow that you've ever heard, and I was like, there's no way I just heard that.
You're okay, Kat. You're okay, baby. You're okay.
It's okay.
I know.
Okay.
You made it.
We were thanking God, and it was a good feeling being able to tell the owner of the cat that her cat's still alive, because when you lose an animal, it's like losing a family member.
I know the pain of losing an animal, and that's kind of what got me started into trying to rescue animals.
It was a memory I won't forget.
A story of 2 miracles after the fire. Thankfully, the 2 cats have been treated and are now home with their owner.
That was Landry Sr. reporting. I love cats, and I love the fact that this couple was there. Wonderful story. Coming up after the break, Bridget will have one last look at the forecast. Stay with us.
Please join us in store October 12th and 13th for a designer event featuring Lika Behar, because life is too short for ordinary jewelry.
Here's the fact. The majority is not about left or right. You're about reasonable. You will see how the faces and places in this nation are interconnected and interdependent, that we still dare to care about one another both across the street or across the country. The simple truth is that America is the beacon of a better life for most people and most places all over the world.
Cuomo, weeknights at 8/7 Central, only on News Nation.
For everyone from players to parents, football offers unlimited growth with even more to learn. Visit futureforfootball.com to get ahead of the game. Find out where to play, what equipment to use, and get the latest from leagues around the country, including pro tips and parental info from the experts. These resources make it easier than ever to create your plan and make your play.
Optimum Business is here with fast, reliable internet with speeds up to 1 gig to bring opportunities closer so you can go farther. Get internet, phone, and mobile with flexible plans and internet with built-in cybersecurity for just $69 a month. With Optimum Business, you get transparent pricing with no hidden fees and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Your future's only a connection away with Optimum Business. Plans start at $69 a month. Call or visit Optimum Business today.
At the watering hole, the bedding area, the field edge, and through shed season, your next big deer will alert you when he's ready. The Flex from Spy Point.
Let's take one last look at that 7 forecast, and the one thing that we are all happy about is the rain that we're seeing, because that means fall is here. Not only that, but tomorrow we have a high of 78 degrees with a 40% chance of some rain showers. So do be sure to hold on to your rain gear. Keep it from tonight all the way up until the following Saturday, because you're definitely going to need it. And let's enjoy some of the rain. Go have fun in it, swim in it, splash your feet in it, all of that.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Nothing I love more than fall. Well, thank you so much for watching us tonight. That's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 10 o'clock.